Umber, you say?
The old man croaked.
A fitting enough name for an earth spirit, I suppose,
he said to himself absently as he marveled at the hulking being in front of him.
And you're sure you don't want to save your coin? Seems indestructible enough as is.
He clanked the wooden cane against the leg of the iron giant.
I'm quite sure. Now take your coin and be to work,
hissed the Viscount in the familiar basement of his villa. He placed what could be the same pouch of coins on the same work table as before.
And you're sure this is what you'd spend your wish on? Not many find themselves in the situation where they've... I'm quite sure.
The Viscount cut him off.
Take the coin and perform the spell if you'd be so kind. As you desire, Viscount.
The elderly man replied as he took a seat in front of the golem.
This is going to take the wind out of my sails, so I prefer to do it while seated, you see. Granting a wish isn't as easy as it was just a few years ago when I first learned the spell. These days I can hardly stand after the casting, so best just to take a seat before. But don't you worry, the magics are still with me.
The Viscount stood near the exit, impatiently tapping his foot upon the stone flooring. Normally he believed himself to be a patient man, but being so close, mere minutes away to having his own personal indestructible servant, made him anxious in a foreign way.
You might want to take a few steps back. I've never done this sort of magical alchemy, and I'm unsure of how the energy released by the spell will dissipate,
the old man said as he tugged at the long sleeves to give himself some slack at the wrists. He then raised his wand high over his balding head and took a deep breath in before closing his eyes. The magically instantly thrummed to life, filling the mage's arcane focus. It was more power than Viscount Bixiador had ever felt, by a large margin, and the old man was still drawing in more and more to him with every passing second. The periphery of the room where the Viscount stood began to feel cold as the warmth, light, and even seemingly the color, the essence of the room, coiled itself into the wand. The old man had been muttering his magic words, and as the wand gently swirled above his head, gathering power,
"Grant his wish,"
were the first words that the Viscount could hear coming from the old mage.
"Make Umber's casket of adamantine,"
he breathed in a final and powerful breath, and the visible power from the wand gathered at the tip and jumped towards the iron husk. For a split second, there was silence. The kind of silence that makes you think you've gone deaf, and that, mixed with the faded color of the room and his distorted perspective, the Viscount, for a moment, thought he had gone mad, and this was all simply a fantasy. The golem then released a pulse of light so bright Bixiador thought he may never see again. After a few seconds, the brightness faded and the room was as it should be, but Umber was a shimmering colossus of nearly indestructible power. And the mage was passed out on a chair before him, head back, mouth open, and snoring loudly.
"How does your new body feel, Umber?"
asked the Viscount as he composed himself. The giant moved to trace an adamantine finger of the golden filigree that had been lovingly carved across it. "Powerful."
"And you'd like to stay this powerful, yes?"
"Yes."
"Then you must dispatch the wizard there. He would be the only one who could undo this magic that has transformed you into a perfect being."
The Viscount spoke as he slipped the gold that was once meant for Lady Ironbelts, then Mystic Ferredin, and most recently the former Archmage Irwin, back in his leather belt pouch. He then turned to leave as Umber approached the mage with arms outstretched and the gentle suggestion of murder on his mind. The Viscount suppressed a laugh. After all, it was a touch cliché, but he couldn't help but muse at how this much power just made one want to laugh. Hey there, creatures, and welcome to Encounter This. a podcast exploration of the creatures from Dungeons & Dragons and the lore that surrounds them.
Welcome, listeners. Golember Part 2, that's French, by the way, where we will discuss a very important and controversial section of our usual format. Of course, I am Freeman. That's the way I like it. Easton. And my co-host today will, of course, be James. Stats! Savior of the universe. Kid.
I appreciate that you went for that one.
How can you not? How can you not? James, of course, will be taking us through the stat blocks of the golems, which he has assured me previously that they are good, I think. So we'll see. And I'm actually genuinely looking forward to this one, like big time. I really want to see the surprise that is 5e and these creatures.
Yeah, so there are only 5 stat blocks that I did. I decided to nix like the lightning and the crystal and the stuff from Adventure Pass. So we're just going to be going over the stuff from the Monster Manual and Fitzbands again today, like we did in episode 1. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping there's enough here that we can get a full episode out of it. Otherwise, sorry.
I'm sure I'll fill the gaps and get some padding in there with my critiques.
That's what I'm hoping
or my
for.
love. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a lot of room here for discussion. So.
Cool.
Okay, so we're going to go through in ascending CR order like we normally do, starting with this guy over here, the Flesh Golem, whose lore I was so happy with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, super cool.
And like you asked, I included the costs to make the golems. So in 5e, this one would cost 50k, but in previous editions it is 20k.
Okay.
So the CR of the Flesh Golem is 5, AC 9, HP 93, size medium, alignment neutral, and speed 30 feet. So you fought a bunch of these Flesh Golems. I run them all the time.
Okay. I have no particular memory of doing it, but I trust you.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine you do. Yeah. Like they're not.
They sort of cannon fodder.
CR5.
In a way. Yeah. I mean, I'm still happy it's CR5. Like, I'm hoping and / assuming that this is the lowest one. You did tell me they were a bit higher, so I'm pretty happy with that already.
And you guys did have some difficulty with a Flesh Golem in Rime of the Frost Maiden in the spoilers for Rime of the Frost Maiden. 3, 2, 1. Inside the gnome Mind Flayer ship, they had a Flesh Golem that almost took you guys down.
Oh yes, okay, that sparks some vague memories. Yes, I remember that space. I don't remember the golem so much, but I do remember hitting a peak of difficulty in that place. And this was that peak of difficulty. Yeah, so there's no damage resistance to speak of, but they are immune to lightning, poisoning, and non-magical that are not adamantine, and that's where you guys had your problems because they were just straight up immune to a lot of your attacks. Right. Yeah.
They are immune to charmed, exhausted, frightened, paralyzed, petrified, and poisoned, which will be a theme going forward. Almost all, I think all the golems are immune to those, with the exception maybe being that stupid fucking Dragonbone one.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Dark Vision 60 feet, and it understands the language of its creator, but it does not speak. So for those of you who listened to last week's intro, I took some creative liberties and deal with it.
Don't at me, at him.
That is encounter.pod on Instagram if you want to get a hold of me. Longtime listeners and watchers will know that Freeman deals with the Instagram, so that's me shucking the blame there. A couple of common abilities that we'll see through most of these golems, so we'll touch on them once, and then when they come up, we won't touch on them again. The first is constructed nature, so they don't require food, sleep, drink, or air. Pretty, pretty self-explanatory. They are constructs. They have magical resistance, so they have advantage on saves versus spells and other magical effects.
Yep, my favorite ability.
Yeah. They have magic weapons, so their attacks count as magical for the purposes of overcoming DI or DR.
Mhm.
And they have immutable form, which means they are immune to spells that would change its form. This includes polymorph and anything of that vein.
Okay, interesting.
The next ability we have here is called Berserk. So if you remember, we briefly touched on in the lore that they are essentially husks that are used to bind elemental spirits. So this ability is meant to reflect what happens if that elemental spirit gets loose from the golem itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's called Berserk. So if it starts its turn with 40 HP or lower, which I believe is to represent a crack in the husk, you roll 1d6. On a 6, the golem attacks the nearest creature it can see. If no creature attacks an object smaller than it, and once Berserk, it continues to do so until fully healed or destroyed. However, if the creature is within 60 feet, it can attempt a DC 15 persuasion check to return the golem to normal. It still must make the save you still must make the roll every time it starts its turn with 40 HP or lower. So continuing throughout the rest of the combat, it could just fucking go bananas.
Okay. Gotcha. And wait, but but what is the bananas part? It attacks the nearest thing. That's it? That's the only bananas part?
That's pretty much it, yeah.
That's pretty weak.
We're only on the first one, bud.
Okay, all right. Right.
And wait till you see this thing's attacks for a CR5.
Okay. Gotcha.
The next ability is a version of fire, so it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn if it takes fire damage.
Mm-hmm.
And lightning absorption, lightning damage heals it for the damage that it normally would have dealt. So that was another thing you guys had problems with, is the fact that it was immune to lightning, and I believe my fiance kept healing it with Thunderwave.
That sounds about right. I was going to say, she's always playing a druid, and it's just a lot of poison and lightning attacks.
Yeah. And both those last abilities are obviously ripped straight out of Mary Shelley's opus.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does have multi-attack, and it is 2 slam attacks. The first, it is a +7 to hit, 5-foot reach, and 2d8 +4 bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
So for a CR5, it is hard to hit, harder to kill, and hits pretty hard with 2d8, or 48 +8, I guess, technically, at the end of the day.
I mean, not really hard to hit. It's just certain things don't work, right? Because would you say its AC was? It's quite low.
9.
Yeah, that's very low. But yeah, with the wrong party build.
Yeah.
You can see how it could be a problem.
Yeah, and I think when you guys came up against it, you were a bard, a swashbuckler, a druid, and
barbarian?
No, I don't remember what. I don't know if we've ever said our name on air, so I don't necessarily want to do it right now.
Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. A ranger. I was a ranger. Yeah, like a distance-focused ranger.
Yeah.
You guys were inside of a spaceship.
A tight spot. We were in a tight spot.
Yeah. So then not having magical weapons was real bad for you guys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a fairly early on one, I remember. So
yeah.
Good times.
Indeed. All right, up next we have this guy here, the Clay Golem, my least favorite.
Yeah, it's not a handsome fella.
No, that is correct.
Okay. Least favorite just for the artwork or in general?
I just don't care for it in general. It's fine, I guess. It has one cool ability, I guess. But in previous editions, we never got the value for it. But in 5th edition, it cost 65,000 gold to make.
Mm-hmm.
Another CR9, AC 14 natural, 133 HP. CR9, AC 14, 133 HP.
Gotcha.
So we just jumped from 5 straight to 9 here.
Yeah, it's not. It's a whoop.
Yeah, it is large, unaligned. Again, it's a construct, and its speed is only 20 feet, I guess, to represent the fact that it's this lumbering beast made of what appears to be soft clay.
Right. Okay.
We have no damage resistance. Immunities this time we add acid, poison, psychic, and same non-magical that are not adamantine.
Mm-hmm.
And it has the same condition immunities.
Right.
Excuse me. It has 60 feet dark vision, and the languages it understands the same as his creator, but does not speak it. So same as the other one. As for abilities, we have the same constructed nature, magic resistance, magical attacks, and immutable form. We still have Berserk, but this one's a little altered. So same 40 HP or lower, you roll 1d6. On a 6, the golem goes Berserk. However, there is no way in which the creator can command it. Again, I think to represent the fact that this isn't Frankenstein's monster.
Okay.
So once it goes Berserk, it continues to do so until fully healed or destroyed.
Gotcha.
It has a version of fire this time. Sorry, it still has a version of fire. So if it takes fire damage, it has disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks until the end of its next turn.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of lightning absorption, this one has acid absorption. So it heals for damage that it normally would have dealt if it's acid typed.
Okay.
Also has multi-attack. So it has a slam, which is +8 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d10 bludgeon this time, +5. If you get hit with its slam, you need to make a DC 15 con save, or target's max HP is reduced by the damage taken. Target dies if the attack reduces its max HP to 0, and this can only be removed via Greater Restoration or another similar spell.
Oh, okay. So they're chipping away at your max HP at the same time.
Yep.
Interesting. I don't really see clearly why the clay golem is doing that, but I guess maybe the acid part.
I think that probably
seems
is
like a stretch, but all right. It's more dangerous anyway.
It also has haste, so this recharges on a 5 or a 6. If it pops off, it's +2 to AC, advantage on dex saves, and it can slam as a bonus action until the end of its next turn. So you can haste, get a bonus to your AC, advantage on dex saves, and just pop off a slam. So,
damn,
mighty dangerous.
Yeah. So I can just use that. Okay, till end of next turn. Right. Okay.
And it's a recharge 5 or 6. So
yeah.
It's not all the time, but 5 or 6 is still, 30% chance.
Right. But it's
repeated.
It's effectively going to spend its turn using haste and then wait till its next turn and then utilize that. Right? Because
it can slam as a bonus action.
Okay, so it can activate it and
yeah.
slam, and then the next turn it can multi-attack, and then a third slam. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. Ideally a recharge. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2 turns, you're essentially getting 4 slams in, but you're getting a +2 to your AC and advantage on dex saves. So
it's not a slouch. Not a slouch.
No, and this is one of those recharge abilities where you don't want to use it every time you get it. Like you said, you want to 1 turn hold next turn, just so you're not constantly because it goes until the end of your next turn.
Right.
So you don't want to double up on haste if you recharge it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up is the Stone Golem. This might be a short episode, listeners.
Stone Golem. All right. That one's looking a little more 90s cartoony.
Yeah, very much so. This one was 60k in previous editions and 80k in 5e.
Mm-hmm.
This one is a CR10 with 17 natural armor, 178 HP. It is a large creature unaligned with, and we're back up to 30 feet of movement here. No damage resistance, but it is immune to psychic, poison, and non-magical that are not adamantine. Same condition immunities.
Mm-hmm.
Same language buffs. Its dark vision is kicked up to 120 feet, though.
Mm-hmm.
As for abilities, it only has the immutable form, magic weapons, magic resistance, and constructed nature. There's no other abilities, including Berserk.
Okay.
This one also has multi-attack. It can make 2 slam attacks, which are now plus 10 to hit, 5-foot reach, 3d8 plus 6 bludgeoning. There's no extra damage on top of that. And instead of haste, this one has slow, so it recharges on a 5 or a 6. One creature within 10 feet of the golem must make a DC 17 wisdom save. And on a failure, the target cannot use reactions, its speed is halved, and it cannot make more than 1 attack. Target can also only take a bonus or standard action. This effect lasts for 1 minute. That being said, you repeat the save at the end of the target's turn, and this effect ends on a success.
Oh, okay. Can only take a bonus action or standard action. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely gimping you a bit, eh? I'm now imagining a stone and a clay golem in the same fight. That would be kind of terrifying.
There's a Pathfinder 1E
Yeah, mean
adventure
combo.
called the Golem Factory, where you take
yeah?
on a bunch of different golems at the same time. And it's one of those. I think it's a Pathfinder Society adventure, and I've had it in my pocket forever. But it's not a short one. It's going to be like a 3 or 4 sessioner.
Yeah.
And yeah, some of those fights get brutal.
I love it. I love how many golems Pathfinder has thrown out there, as we covered in the last episode. Holy crap! Okay,
Yeah, and
that's
there's
fun.
a little
Yeah.
bit more nuance to the Pathfinder ones too, which is nice.
Yeah, which I'll go over once we get to the end of this. I think to pad up the episode, because I love the sort of defensiveness of the Pathfinder ones, or at least the 2E ones. I'm not familiar with the 1E.
Yeah, and it'll give the listeners something to steal.
Yes, it will.
All right, up next, bones and duct tape.
You're welcome, listeners, for making sure myself making sure that James covered the Fizzbands one, because I got called out. So I was like, well, we better make sure we're covering all our bases here. I found another golem for you.
So this is called a golem, but it doesn't really fit the same motif.
Okay.
So this one is somehow a CR 11. It is AC 17 natural armor.
Yep.
161 HP. It is large, unaligned, and a 40-foot speed with no fly speed.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's got. If it had more duct tape on the wings, maybe.
I guess, yeah. There's nothing to catch a lift.
Yeah, exactly.
It is only immune to poison damage. It does have the same condition immunities. 60 feet dark vision, and it understands the language of its creator, but it does not speak, so same as the other ones.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of constructed nature, for whatever reason, it has unusual nature, but it does the same thing.
Okay.
It has the same magic resistance, but it does have a fear aura. So it is a DC 15 wisdom save. On a failure, you are frightened until the start of your next turn. On a success, you're immune for 24 hours.
Okay, a fear. All right. An aura, even. We don't see that very often.
No, not in this game.
But okay. And what does frightened do in 5e again? It's just stand you still? Does it make you run? I could never remember. Conditions in 5e have never been like something that I could memorize.
Right. I used to have them all memorized, but I'm blanking now.
Yeah.
Here we go. A creature has disadvantage on ability checks and attack rolls while the source of fear is in the line of sight. Cannot willingly move closer.
That's it. No willingly moving closer. Having a hard time hitting. Gotcha. Shaking in your boots, as it were.
Yeah, so that's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
So that's each creature that starts its turn within 20 feet of the golem. So that's not, all things considered, there are worse abilities.
Yeah,
like spellcasting. It also has multi-attack. It has 1 pinion and 2 rend attacks.
Okay.
So the pinion is a +9 to hit, 5-foot reach, 2d6 plus 5 piercing. If the target is medium or smaller, it is pinned. But the dragon only has 2 pinions, though it can restrain 2 targets. If both are used, it cannot use the pinion attack.
Okay.
So essentially it just pins targets with its wings, and that's it.
Gotcha.
It's a DC 17 athletics at the start of the pinned creature's turn to escape.
Mm-hmm.
Its next attack is Rend, also a +9, 5-foot reach, 2d6 plus 5 piercing. This one adds 1d10 necrotic, so, not bad.
Okay. So, I mean, it's kind of trying to just take one of its wings, pin you down, and then rend you to death, essentially, all in the same motion. Yeah.
Pretty much.
Yep. You can imagine it. I was gonna say it's imaginative, but I didn't. That's not quite what I wanted. It's not imaginative, but you can imagine it.
Yes, that is correct. Here's something you cannot imagine. It has a petrifying breath weapon that recharges on a 5 or a 6. So, listeners, to the audio version, this is literally a skeleton with duct tape on it, and somehow it has a breath weapon.
But it can't fly, so somehow it's magical, but not magically imbued to fly like a dragon would.
Mm-hmm.
You'd think. You'd think that the magic was there. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So it's a 60-foot cone, DC 15 con save. And it is 10d6 poison and restrained as the target begins to turn to stone. You repeat the save at the end of your next turn, and on a success, everything's good. On a failure, the target is then petrified.
Uh-huh.
Why this pile of bones and Red Green's nightmare fuel turns people to stone is beyond me. I don't understand anything about this creature. I don't understand.
It's not even
why it has
quite
a breath weapon.
So if we had the 2e fossil golem, which we talked about a little bit, you'd almost say, okay, I accept it because it's in theme, petrified bones, petrifying breath. And that's me really apologizing right now.
Yeah.
But like, at least there would be a theme. This is just a dragon skeleton that's been animated. It's effectively
animated with the remaining magic in the skeleton, because that's a real... this is all fantasy.
Right.
Jesus Christ, is that a stretch?
Yeah. It almost seems like it wouldn't even really need the elemental soul bound to it. Because
it doesn't. That's not part of the lore.
Oh, see,
That's why I don't understand why it's called a golem.
Why does
it's
so
linked
far
with adamantine wire, and the adamantine wire is used to harness the magical power that is innate in the dragon's bones.
So far, we are over 2 on Fizban's Treasury of Dragons, or whatever the hell it's called.
Yeah.
It's like, what? Yeah.
That being said, we have firmly identified that the dragon bone marrow is the most magical part of the dragon.
Wonderful.
Right.
Yep.
Waste of my time. Sorry, listeners.
There's your episode padding.
Yeah. I know we're only 24 minutes into this, but Jesus Christ. I think everybody could have done without that one.
Well,
that being said,
moving on.
Our next one is this beast. This thing is a mess.
Wow.
In all
that's totally
of the right ways.
Metal. Get it?
Cool.
I shall name him Rammstein.
This is the Iron Golem. So this one costs 100k in previous editions, 115 in the current edition.
Yep.
So CR 16. What a jump. 5 to 16. 20 AC, 210 HP, large, unaligned, 30 feet.
Mm-hmm.
It is immune to fire, psychic, poison, and non-magical that are not adamantine. Same condition immunities, 120 feet dark vision, same language restrictions. It also has constructed nature, magic resistance, magic weapons, immutable form, and fire absorption. So any fire damage that hits it, it regains that HP, just like the flesh golem. And then we have its attacks. So it has multi-attack, which is 2 melee attacks. The first is a slam, which is a plus 13 to hit, 5-foot reach, 3d8 plus 7 bludgeoning. The second is its giant sword. So if you remember back to our first episode, part of the construction of an iron golem required a giant, beautiful sword.
Okay, yeah.
That is 13 to hit, 10-foot reach. Finally, a large creature with some reach. 3d10 damage plus 7.
Okay, so you're
And
already
then-
like you're literally not going to use this lamb unless for some reason the sword is out of its hand, like
Yeah.
or unable to use it because it's just straight
Exactly.
up better. Yeah.
Or you want to use its final attack, which is called Poison Breath. So if you remember, it also required an alchemical flask, and that's what this is for. So this
Okay.
recharges on a 6. It is a 15-foot cone, DC 19 con save, 10d8 on a fail, half on a success.
Okay. 10d8 is not a small amount.
No.
I mean, at level 16 though, like I feel like the con that is a high con save, if you're a wizard. But if you're anything else but a squishy caster, it's probably not that intimidating.
No, but 5d8 still isn't good.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
remember, that's 5d8 magical damage. So you're not you're not having resistance on that.
Yeah.
Not only that, this creature has advantage on just about every save it's ever going to have to make.
Mm-hmm.
And it's immune to fire, psychic, and poison. And just regular, like, I mean, at 16th level, you're not going to be just using regular magic weapons. But,
Yeah.
if you happen to pull out a crossbow because you want to get some distance and you don't have +1 bolts, like, ping, ping.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah, I really do love these creatures, and I know that we just sped through those stat blocks, but I think that's a testament. There's so much beauty in the simplicity of these beings.
Well, that is it. They are neat and tidy. They are straightforward. We tend to like those creatures in 5e when they're not too elaborate. Yeah, they have a purpose, and yeah, it's. I mean, I guess. I just never really liked magic resistance. It is a lazy ability to give creatures. Just and like
Normally, I'd agree with you.
Over. Yeah.
But I think this is thematically appropriate based on the IRL lore that you proposed.
That is true enough. If it were ever to apply appropriately, it would be here, I guess, and especially thinking in the 5e mechanics, because of course, as of quite recently, have had the Pathfinder 2e golems on my brain, and their sort of magical resistances are much more elaborate, we'll say. But to translate to 5e, it sort of just makes sense to give it that. It has immunities, and then it has advantage, and then even one of those actually heals it. And that's if you look at it in that breakdown, there is a certain amount of complication to that, making sure you remember which one's which and where it applies. But yeah, the 2e ones are not too different from that ultimately. But I can explain more of that unless you have more to cover before I do.
No, honestly, that's pretty much it. Just based on the fact this is an impromptu suite in the end of the year, I figured we'd keep it nice and tight. But if you want to elaborate on the 2e golems, I would love to hear about it.
Yeah, this actually took me a bit to get my head around when we first did. So as of just before the previous episode here on Stemming the Tide, you guys encountered your first golem. And so, I mean, there's some minor spoiler.
35, I think.
Something like that, yeah. So there was some minor spoiler just in time. I think I did reveal a little extra spoiler last episode by mistake, but that'll come down the line. But it's pretty small. But what's the most important is I believe in that episode someone managed to roll very high on a recall knowledge check and understand exactly what makes a golem function. Now, there are, of course, multiple types of golems, but their chief thing they share is what's called golem anti-magic. And that effectively makes them immune to all spells and magical abilities other than its own. But there are some exceptions. So it depends on which golem it is, how they were constructed, and what magic sort of formed them. So they have some caveats. So effectively immune to everything magic related, unless they cast it themselves. And then with these exceptions, they will be harmed by a particular type of magic. They will be healed by a particular type of magic. They will be slowed by a particular type of magic, and they will be vulnerable to one or more specific spells. So we will look at the wood golem, which is what you guys fought, and we'll go into a little more detail on that to sort of explain that if you are so inclined, Mr. Kit.
I'm game. More than anything, I think this will be a good way for the listeners to compare the systems in their mind. We've seen how 5e has taken something that's been around in pop culture and since first edition and made it clean and tight.
Yep.
And now I've always said that Pathfinder 1 is D&D, but for nerds, and Pathfinder 2 is kind of like a solid middle ground between the two. So now we'll be able to try and accurately explain to the listeners how that steps up a little bit. So please, by all means.
Yeah. So if we look at the harmed by, if we look at the wood golem, they are harmed by fire. And this is particularly because this is an anti-magic thing. This is the thing that tripped me up when I was first researching it, is that it is not just any fire, it is magical fire. So they are immune to magic, but in the wood golem's case, magical fire has a sort of pinpoint weakness in its anti-magic. That's an important distinction from non-magical to magical fire. And
so that would be the difference between a spell and a torch.
Correct. Yeah. Or even an alchemist's bomb or some such. Alchemical fire would not count as magical. So, but the reason it's important is because, and the way I've interpreted it essentially is that if you hit it with the right magical type of damage, you are effectively unraveling the anti-magic that is imbued into it. And the reason I think that's an important interpretation is because you don't deal the damage you would normally deal if you're delivering magical fire damage to it. Instead, it takes a set amount of damage. So if it is a direct attack, like launching a fire bolt at it, it will just take, in this case, 4d8 fire damage. 4d8 untyped damage. It just takes damage. It's not fire damage of any kind. It is just damage, but it is triggered by magical fire of a direct hit. If it happens to be persistent or area of effect damage, it's 2d6. So it's a lower amount. But same idea, untyped damage. Again, interpreting as if it is being unraveled in a way. So if you throw an alchemist's fire, that's just going to do whatever it does. It is not immune to that. It's only magical that really makes important in this mechanic. On top of that, wood golem would be healed by plant. So any kind of plant-based attacks, anything that is themed in that direction, anything that would, in fact, effectively, I guess, heal a plant. And again, it's the same idea. It's more bolstering. So you're not going to actually take the same amount of healing. You will take 2d6 healing in this case. And just as a side note, this is a CR6 creature in 2e.
So comparable to the flesh golem.
Yeah. So healed by plant, although I have a hard time. I can't even really conjure up what spell or magical attack would even do that. I'm sure there is one, but I don't have one off the top of my head.
Yeah, and whenever I think plant attacks, I always think like Vine Whip and Tanglefoot.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, or like Wall of Thorns or something like that.
I think Wall of Thorns is a Diablo 2, and Vine Whip is definitely Pokemon, so I think we've all fucked up here.
I honestly, as I was saying it, I was thinking, is that a Diablo 2 spell? You just called me out on it.
That is 100% a Paladin spell, yeah. And I said Vine Whip, and I immediately thought of Bulbasaur. I was like, no, I'm thinking of Thorn Whip. Thorn Whip is the 5e spell.
Oh my god, so good. Excuse me. And then on top of that, if any earth attacks are shot at it, it will become slowed as a result. So it doesn't actually take any of the damage. It doesn't have any of the other effects of the earth attack, but it will suddenly become slowed. So its anti-magic has different like weaknesses in it effectively and different triggers. So if it's this, that happens. Whatever you threw at it doesn't really happen. You just triggered that weakness, that back door into the firewall, as it were. It's probably a terrible analogy, but it came out of my head.
Really, as far as I know, which isn't very far, there are no such thing as a back door into a firewall these days.
You tell that to 90s action films. How dare you?
Somebody the other day asked me about a mainframe, and I just about died laughing. like seriously asked me how would somebody hack the mainframe? And I just about died.
Oh God, I love it. And then the last one to cover is, so we've covered harmed by, healed by, and then slowed by, and then we have vulnerable to. So vulnerable to is a very specific spell. It's not damage at this point. In this case, it is a spell called Shape Wood, which, adds up. And it actually ends up taking, if you use that spell on it, it takes 2d8 damage per spell level. Basic fortitude save, so that's effectively your save for half damage in 2e, and that's against the caster's spell DC. On a critical failure, the golem would also be immobilized for 1d4 rounds, which is pretty significant. It wouldn't be able to move effectively. But yeah, so that's a breakdown of how that can work. Harmed by, healed by, slowed by, vulnerable to, and that applies to every golem in 2e. In this particular circumstance, and it's neat because everyone's got a different base one to be harmed by, base one to be healed by, different type that will slow it by, and then the vulnerable two, that gets pretty expanded in its own way. And then on top of that, with these stat blocks, they have their own unique sort of shtick that they do as well. So with the Wood Golem in particular has a reaction called Splinter. So it takes a hit. It launches off a splinter at its attacker,
right?
Which it can also do on its turn. It has its range attack by shooting splinters. So that's a very simple, for a lower level version of a golem, but that's a very simple mechanic. But that's sort of its thing. It also has a volley attack of splinters. It can hit everything in the room, and that's kind of what it's doing. And then those are its caveats to its anti-magic. And I can tell you that the other golems get pretty gnarly. They're really cool, especially that goddamn adamantine golem. It's insane. Yeah,
the one that looks like a literal freight train.
Yeah, They some of this stuff is so amazing, and they are honestly probably some of the most terrifying creatures I've read in 2e. So
that's awesome.
It's so dangerous. Yeah. And then their immunities. The lists are long. What we discovered pretty quickly in our run was. We had a magic caster who could do basically nothing to it. And our melee primarily does non-lethal damage, which is also immune to. So,
yeah, that was a tough one for me.
It was a quick turn and tail and then flee kind of situation.
Yeah, we got the fuck out of there.
Hell of a fight.
Yeah. But I think that's about gonna wrap it up for this episode, listeners. You got the 5e stat blocks. You got a quick little primer on the differences between 5e and 2e, and maybe your level as a GM will be more comfortable in the new year to take on 2nd edition. We always recommend branching out, trying different systems. It's why part of the Choose a Creature tier has always been for any system that you're interested in. So we always want to encourage you, because 5e isn't going to be right for everybody, and it's not right for most people in my experience, but we love it, and I love it, and thanks for joining us for part 3 of Golember. We hope you had good and safe holidays if that's your thing, and we're, I guess, happy New Year 2023. Is it gonna be 2023?
Yeah.
Yeah. we're wishing you a happy and safe New Year's Eve.
Says the man who has
2022.
to close the books on businesses.
I don't know. I don't need to know what year it is. Just the end. It's at the end of the year. Just a month. Yeah. But with that, we will we'll see you again in early January for episode whatever the next one is. And if you're feeling extra generous this holiday season, you can always donate to our Patreon. They'll get you some good perks at patreon.com/UnchartedNorth. For $5 a month, it'll get you a handwritten thank you letter and themed little trinkets, whether it be stickers or buttons or what have you, whatever we have available at the moment. For $10 a month, you can suggest a creature, and that will get you a discount to our merch store. If that doesn't show up immediately, feel free to pop us a DM on any of those social medias or jump on over to our public Discord that you can find at unchartednorth.com/Discord. That will just pop you right into our Discord if that's your thing. If you're interested in any merchandise, I know the holiday season is kind of over, but if anybody buys you merchandise for our show, you are either one of the 3 people we talk to on a daily basis, or me or Freeman ourselves. But merchandise for any of the Uncharted North properties can be found at unchartednorth.com/shop. If you want to find us on Twitter, that's twitter.com/@encounterpod, facebook.com @encounterpod, Instagram @encounter.pod, youtube.com /@encounterpod, because they're weird now. And EncounterThis.ca is still our home on the web. It will link you directly to our Uncharted North website, where we have a little blurb about the show. You can find the latest episodes and our entire back catalog of episodes, all completely free and ad-free, as well as our show notes that we use to produce these shows. Those used to be a Discord bonus. They are now just what we're putting up on the blog, along with the reading list, any source material we use to create these episodes, so you can hunt down those books if you're interested, or source books or what have you. That's all available over there on the website. If you're listening to the audio version of this show, if you could rate and review on your platform of choice, that really helps new people find us. And if you are watching the version of this on YouTube, hitting that subscribe button and the bell icon notifies you whenever new episodes go up. The subscribe really helps. The bell, I don't know. And thumbs up if you like it. Thumbs down if you didn't.
I think it's just a notification button. I think it's what it is.
It is, yeah. So when you click the bell, you have 3 options. There's either when you click subscribe, you can either be notified, no notifications, or YouTube will tailor make notifications to you from the algorithm. But if you're not going to watch it from the notifications, like the top little notifications, don't hit the fucking bell, because I've been told that just buries you in the algorithm.
I've never used any of these on YouTube.
I've been doing a lot of research, because we're here now. We're
so
officially
disconnected.
landed.
It's amazing.
You're so bad at everything about this show.
Just remember, listeners, that we are harmed by you not listening, healed by you listening, and
Patreon?
Patreon donations, subscriptions. We are slowed by. What are we slowed by?
YouTube, I think.
We're slowed by our old age and grumpiness.
That is correct.
And we are severely vulnerable to your praise, because we don't really know how to take it, but we love it so much.
Yeah. One of the weirdest sensations on earth is having fans. But we love you. You're all greatly appreciated.
Yeah. Yeah, you just have to fight my mom for the top slot, is all.
That's probably true. She
Not
does
of the show, just of
win.
me.
Right.
She's never listened to this.
No, mine either. All right, thanks, creatures, and we'll be back again in a couple of weeks with the next most episode.
Which I will cover.
The end button.
And I have no idea what it is.